Hi, this is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast. It's October, so for me, that means that the fall season of Happy Campers Club has begun. That's Monday through Friday, lots of meetings here in front of my computer on the Zoom with the writing community. But in particular, every single Tuesday is a load of meetings, at least 4 write-ins. And this first Tuesday was also the write-in of the month for the Stop Writing Alone Substack community. So this Tuesday I had 5 one-hour write-ins, and a couple of them went longer than an hour, as they do when you're in writing community, right? You either press it and do another sprint, or you're in a chat. Well, needless to say, that after all of this sitting in front of my computer and writing and doing all my good work, by Tuesday night, my back, my neck, and my shoulders were killing me. And I was reminded of what happens in the binge writing of it all, and how important doing some very simple exercises can be just to get through your writing day. So I have these 6 things. I was trying to list down the things that I normally do, because this is the thing. This doesn't normally happen to me. And what struck me on Tuesday was like, wow, I'm really good about doing all these little stretches and things to make sure this doesn't happen. But one day of binge writing like this, and I'm already super tight. So I was like, let me come out to the community and say, hey, are you doing this? Especially before we get into NaNoWriMo season. Because if you have a typical writing habit where it's already in your day and you're not spending hours at a time in one position doing this writing, and then you shift over to that, you might get caught off guard by your body's reaction to it. Whereas, if you just do a couple of simple things on the in-between, you can get through, because this is it. It's all just about not forgetting that there is this whole physical form that is here at the desk with you. So the first 4 that I have are all things that I do right at my desk that, you can do anywhere, really. They're all sitting. You don't have to really get away from your writing. And they're things that should sort of be done, or I try to do, within my writing. If I'm stopping to reread something, oftentimes I can do one of these stretches while reading on the screen. But yeah, just regular practice of this type of thing. So the first one, and I don't think any of these are innovative and that you don't already know this. Like, as I say them, you're going to be like, oh yeah. It's even on Tuesday night when I was going through my stretches to sort of bring myself back to normal, I was in the moment of like, oh yeah, I forgot how good that could feel. Why didn't I do that at, 10 this morning? So the first one is very, very simple neck stretch. So you may or may not realize it as you're working on your computer. You are holding your head in this like solid position, moving it so slightly that, stiffness can begin. So to stretch the neck, so simple. Literally just tilt your head side to side. So I'm looking forward right now, but if I want to do a neck stretch, I'm going to tilt my ear to hit my shoulder. So I'm like hitting my left shoulder with my left ear. And then if I feel, you should feel the stretch then on like the right side of your neck. But to make it like feel even more, you can take your left hand and just like lay it on the top of your head. And that's awesome. I love that. Sorry, I'm just doing it right now. Okay, so then, you just do that for a couple of beats. Then you bring your head back up to like center, and then you do the same thing on the other side. It's so incredible. Okay, so we put my right ear on my right shoulder, and then I always love to bring my hand up and just lay it on the top, because it feels like it's doing so much more. So good. And then I always bring my head back up to like center, staring straight before I do anything else. And then I can put my head down, like my chin into my chest. And this one, I definitely always need to put my hand on the back of my head for it to feel any kind of stretch in the back. And then I bring it back up to center. And then I do the same thing and I bring my head all the way back and just look up. I don't really put my hand on my head for this one. Try to press my head all the way back. But you do that, a couple of times while you're writing and you'll feel it. I mean, that's the thing with me and all kinds of stretches. It's like I immediately feel the relief and I recognize what my body needs. So that's one that you can do, you take a break, you're in between writing sprints, whatever it is. You just do that. I didn't have to move from my chair, nothing at all. The other one is a great one that Natalie Goldberg always does when we were doing writing practice. Now, remember with writing practice, Natalie Goldberg's practice, you're doing everything with pen and paper. So my hands were like miserable and get miserable when I'm doing a lot of that. But it happens too on a day like Tuesday where I'm typing all day that my hands start to feel it as well. But very, very simply, all you have to do for this hand stretch is put your arm out in front of you. And while it is tight and straight, point your hand up as if you're going to do a high five. And then take your other hand and pull back on the fingers. So you're kind of just stretching out the entire hand. You can feel it in the base of the palm. I feel it in my wrist because I have my arm all the way out. I feel my forearm. It feels great. And then I always shake my hand out after I do that. And then you do it with the other hand. Even if you're handwriting and you're right-handed, that doesn't mean your right hand's the only thing that should be stretched. I stretch out the whole shebang. So now my left hand, I'm stretching it out like I'm going, stop, stop. I have it straight out and my hand up and strong. But now with my right hand, I'm pulling back on the fingertips. And I mean, the first time Natalie Goldberg did this with us, I was like, oh no, I never stretched my hands. I didn't think of this. And it feels great. That feels great. Again, something you can do right at your computer. I'm shaking my hands out now because I just did it. And you can also do it downward. So press your arm out, and instead of having your hand up in a stop-like position, you just flop it down and then pull down on the fingers, and then you really feel it in the top of your forearm, and that's amazing. And the same thing with the left hand. Sorry, I'm taking you through it all because I'm going to sit here and do all of them. It just feels too good. I need to shake out both hands. If I just did like 2 of these on Tuesday, it would have been so much better. So miserable. Okay. The one for me that I have to do in almost all activities in my life is the shoulder roll. And that's all it sounds like. So you're just sitting here. Again, I'm not even moving. And just roll your shoulders back. And you could do it backwards or forwards. But for me, it's the backwards one where I'm just bringing my shoulders like up to my ears and then pressing them back and then all the way around. It's when I get to that back part that I totally feel that tight band. Because the thing is, that was Tuesday, but I've still been feeling a little bit of tightness across the back of my shoulders. This shoulder roll feels amazing. And, like how many times should you roll your shoulders? I have no idea. I'm no fitness expert. I just know that I roll my shoulders a bunch of times and it feels great. And I can feel that tightness loosening up. Yeah, that's a big one for me. So we got our neck stretch, our hand and arm stretch, our shoulder roll. Oh, there's another arm stretch that I do. I don't even know what the heck this is called, but it's like I call it the cross arm because I'm putting my arm out straight, okay, and then swinging it across my body. So I kind of like, what was that dance? I think it was before my time, but people would do like the sprinkler. I think it was called. They put their arm out. Or even Saturday Night Fever when you're pointing. when you're pointing and you go across. So the arm is completely across the front of my body. My chin is on my shoulder and my other arm hooks over it. This seems like I should do this one on video. You can't even tell what I'm doing. So I'm hooking my left arm up over my right arm, which is across my body. That's why I call it the cross arm, because it's coming across my arm. And when I stretch this way, I feel the stretch at the top of my arm and in my shoulder, which feels really good. And then I can release it. And now I'll do the same thing with my left arm. I sort of point my arm out straight in front of me, swing it around, all the way around. So now it's going, my left arm is going across my body, pointing almost over my right shoulder. I keep my arm completely straight for this. It's not like I hook it, but then my right arm comes to hook over that arm and pull it so that I feel that stretch tight. That's probably going to sound really confusing. If that one's confusing, I'm sorry. But those are the 4 things that I can do at my seat. And there's no excuse ever for me to stand up from a writing time and feel all tight and not stretched out, because there are things that can be done while sitting at your desk to prevent you from getting all of that ugliness later. But of course, we do have to incorporate getting up time and getting the heck out of here. And the number one thing that I can recommend for that, and it's the same thing that I feel like anybody talks about, like just go for a walk. And if you can pair that up with also like getting out, like not just walking around your house, which many of us in the pandemic were like trying to get our steps inside our house, which was hilarious. But if you can get outside, that's just going to do wonders, not only for your body, but for your mind. Yeah, everything about it is just fantastic. That's my number one thing to do, just to get moving in general. I love my bike. Don't get me wrong. I love my bike, but I live in the Northeast in the US. So there's just swaths of time in the year where I feel like I cannot take my bike out. There's nothing that can ever stop me from walking, except like my back being totally crazy, a physical ailment, but nothing that nature can throw at me that's going to stop me from walking. So that's really it. But my bonus one for you is the stretch that I I created for my son. That this is like when he was a toddler and I was just trying to get him to do like more kinds of movements. I thought maybe he was too little for yoga, but I came up with our stretch that, you know, we've always done. I love it. And now he tells me that he's been doing it at school. I don't know if he's been trying to get others to do it with him, but I figure if he's showing his friends at school, I'll tell my friends on the internet about it. So this is a very simple stretch where you stretch over your head, you touch your toes, you stretch out to your sides, and then you hug yourself at the end. And we have a little chant that goes with it. We say, I love the sky, and we stretch all the way up as high as we can get over our head, and it feels so good. You're standing up and just stretching over your head, and then we say, I love my feet, and we touch our tippy toes and hold them as long as we can, and then we stand up and stretch out our arms to the side, and I usually swing back and forth when I say, I love the world. Just love the world. I love all you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm stretching so far out. I got to get the whole world in my arms. And I love, this is the last bit, me. And I hug myself really tight. But the sneaky thing that I do with the hug is that I'm folding my arms so that I am stretching my shoulders. So I love... Are you catching a theme here that I love stretching my shoulders? So I love me twice. I love me with my my left arm over my right, and then I switch my arms, and I love me with my right arm over my left. Did I switch those up, or did I say the same thing twice? And I just hug tight. And that that stretch And that little mantra is a mind, body, healthy stretch for me, for sure. So those are my 6 exercises that if I had done them on Tuesday, I would not have been in pain Tuesday night. I would not have been still feeling tight Wednesday. They were all really, really simple. You can do, like I said, the first 4 in between your writing. So as you're writing, you know what's great? And this is one of the things I love about my, I have a Fitbit that has a little alert on it that, what is the alert? At 10 minutes to the hour, it buzzes me if I haven't walked more than 250 steps. So that's just like a great marker of like, hello, you're not moving. But any type of alarm that you can set for yourself like that is just a check-in to any kind of movement. That Fitbit often gets me in my write-ins because I am usually doing a write-in for an hour. And while I'm not just like going to get up and go walk for 250 steps when I have a meeting full of people here with me, I will stop and do one of my in-seat stretches. I'll do like the hand stretch, or you might catch me on screen doing a shoulder roll or just stretching my neck. So something like that. If you don't have a Fitbit, you can just put a little alarm on your phone or something. If you're doing timed writing sprints, that's perfect. Each time you reach that break from writing, pick one. And if you're doing, an hour of 15-minute sprints with, like the 5 minutes in between, then in the first hour, your first one could be the neck stretch. And then the next time you do the hand stretch. And then the third time you do the shoulder roll. Like you just pick one for each. And then when you get up after doing your whole writing, then you could do I Love the Sky. It feels so good, guys. And I swear it feels better when I say the stuff out loud. When I was practicing yoga, there was a lot about expelling sounds because it helped us expel our breath and it helped us get deeper into the stretch. So if I did a stretch in yoga, a position in yoga, it'd be great. But if I said Om while I was doing it, it would go deeper. And I don't know if it was a placebo effect or what have you. I totally felt like that was the case, which is why when I developed the I Love the Sky thing for my son and myself, I did have something that we would say. And we say it, just like I said, I love the sky. Like we're just stretching the words as we stretch our body. That just feels great. Or pick your own words, whatever it is. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough. And then when you have the time to actually get out and do a walk, it just changes everything. It just really shakes things up. I know it's hard when you're in the zone and everything, and you don't actually want that wonderful shake up that a walk outside might give you. That's why I wanted to offer up a bunch of exercises that you can do while you're at your computer, because you shouldn't just be waiting for, downtime to be taking care of yourself like I did on Tuesday. You need to be doing it on the in-betweens as you are doing the writing. It's got to be a part of the process. And I'm often very good about it, but my body is unforgiving. It is the one day that I don't do it that all of a sudden my body's like, you promised you were going to take care of me. And you did, just like a complete hissy fit. Like, okay, but you know what? It works. The hissy fit works because then the next time I don't do it, and my body knows me very well, that if it didn't throw a hissy fit, I probably would have done this again and again, not stretch, and then we would be like needing to be in traction or something. And the cane would be out again. So, okay, body, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. So what exercises do you do? What is your process to make sure that you are on a very basic level taking care of your body while you're doing your writing? I mean, it's a very sedentary kind of action to write, particularly if you're writing long form or you're in a really deep revision stage. How do you keep yourself in check, that you're getting some movement in, like the Fitbit that yells at me, or just that you are stretching out the muscles that you are using the most while in this action. There's so many different things. I will put a link in the show description. There is a YouTube video of yoga for writers by Yoga by Adriene. She has a yoga video. She does yoga for like everybody. So of course she has in her library yoga for writers. So that's a really great routine. I'm trying to remember how long it was, if it was a half hour or longer. But that's, again, one of those, like, you get away from the computer, you have you need YouTube, so you're not that far away from the computer, but but you get away from this sedentary bit of writing and you can move. That's something that you can do for sure. But I know, I know myself, when I get into something like NaNoWriMo, chances are I'm going to spend every free moment at my computer writing, and save cool things like yoga for writers for December. So if that's the case, these are 6 things that you can do without getting too far away from your writing project, but still taking care of your physical body. Neck stretch, hand stretch, shoulder roll, cross your arm across your body, that crazy one that you probably don't understand, taking a walk, and then I love the sky, I love the world stretch, which is great. And so that's it. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. What is it that you do? Is there something that I'm missing? There probably is. My body will start screaming at me next. I'm trying to remember if there's something that I do. Those are the ones I do. So if there's something I'm missing, let me know, because my body will start screaming if I don't do it. Okay, that's it for this week. Happy campers, the doors are officially closed. We are our group. I think there's 10 of us, which is fantastic. But, the meetings are still happening in Stop Writing Alone Substack community. We've got our write-in coming up and our writing prompt party for everybody. Everybody's invited. And then if you want a little bit more, in the paid Substack community, there's going to be a goal setting meeting coming up actually tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Thursday, that happens on Friday the 7th. We're going to have our story club meeting in the middle of the month about lesson number 4 in the 27 essential principles of story, which is connected to a South Park episode, Breast Cancer Show Ever. I would think it was the name of the episode. It's season 12, episode 9. I watched it last night, and it has been a long time since I watched South Park. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I think I'm just, I'm more sensitive than I was, like when my senses numb when I used to watch this, because I was gasping, and I was like, oh my goodness, they're so offensive. And oh my goodness. Well, I also watched it on HBO. And back in the day when I watched South Park, I guess it was on Comedy Central. It was on some network where you couldn't curse. So when the kids were cursing, it was bleeped. This was full on little children cursing. And for some reason that shook me up. I was like, oh, again, oh my goodness, really? And my husband's like, it was always there. I'm like, it wasn't like this. But anyway, the lesson that we are learning from the creators of South Park for writing, to use therefore and not end in connecting story, is a fantastic lesson. I love it. The episode does really demonstrate it well. And I'm looking forward to that conversation. So that's going to be in the middle of the month for the paid subscribers, the Story Club conversation about the therefores, not the ends. And is everybody else as shook up by South Park as I was? And then the paid subscribers also have another writing prompt party coming up, and probably something else that I'm completely forgetting. So that you can join at any time. That's always open, and all that is $5 a month. Or if you want like the, buy more, get the discount, it's $50 for the year. to subscribe, and then you get access to all those meetings. So yeah, it's a really, really nice time right now because there are different spaces for writing community under the umbrella of Stop Writing Alone. And these different spaces are all at different speeds depending on like what people need. And I'm really happy to be able to offer all that. Oh yeah, the other thing for paid subscribers, the new thing that's coming that I just started this week is Masterclass Mondays. So every Monday in the month, I'm sharing a lesson or a reflection on a lesson that I learned from Masterclass, because that what is it? Online space has, they've added a bunch of writers now. It used to be like everybody wanted to subscribe because, oh, I want to see the Neil Gaiman Masterclass. And then there was like one or two other people. But now I think they have about 20 different writers. So there's a lot going on there. I almost watch all of them, but they added some more. So I have to go back. So that's a fun thing because I love, just like with the story club, I love sharing, learning, teacher nerd. That's my problem. Okay, I'm yammering on. That's it. There's a lot of places for us to be connected face to face. But if this is your one space, if this is your happy place and you love listening to the podcast, please don't forget to write a review if you can. If you're listening like right in the Substack app, I don't think there's a space to do a review there. But if you have an iTunes account, it'd be great if you can just find the Stop Writing Alone podcast in iTunes and write a quick review for the podcast, because that helps other people find us. All right, that's it for me, and have a wonderful week. I'll see you over in Video Land on Friday with a new writing prompt over at the NV Rivera YouTube channel so that we can write 52 short stories in 52 weeks. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Thank you as always for listening, and happy writing.